My man Chris Murder Inc. ran them. I can't really, if you're not old enough to fully understand it, it's hard for me to actually say how big that they were. But you were telling me before, like y'all had like a #1 song on the radio or something like that for like 20 weeks.
Well,
no,
it's not just one song. It was multiple songs. So, a lot of the misconception is they just think it was Murder Inc. But the reality, Irv, as a producer, was one of the biggest producers, if not the biggest at that time.
Right.
And we produced for
J-Lo.
Everybody. The industry. We literally produced for the industry. Irv was looked at as the fixer. So if you wasn't selling records, we called Irv Gotti, let me get a single or something, and next thing you know, you sold some records. So we was, I believe it's 48 weeks out of 52 weeks at #1 with multiple artists.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what you said. 48 weeks out of 52 weeks in a year.
That's a different type of run.
Murder Inc. had a song.
Imagine you do that, like you could understand how powerful we were, or just from that saying that, like every record exec, every label wanted to do business with you.
Yeah.
Because you was that hot. You're on the Billboard charts every week, and it's your music, your sound. Like, man, it was a great time.
30 million records sold. 30 million, right? 30 million?
We're more than that now, but yeah, who's counting?
So all right. But
we're over 40 million records sold.
But before the music industry started, you ran a construction company.
Yes.
So can we talk about that? Because that to me was real interesting. Where you told me that you were a millionaire before you got into music.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was me and my sister Tina. We found a general contractor that actually did demolition, and we wanted to do all of the building side of it, not the demo part, and cut a deal. Ken Frolic, Gateway Demolition, that was the name of the company. They're still existing. They're still out there. And he cut a deal, and we was able to bond these jobs. So if you didn't understand what I mean, why you need to be bonded, because you have to have the money for the job in case something goes wrong. So if the job is $5 million, you had to have $5 million, to cover that job, or a bond that would cover it for you, and you had to have the, all the assets that you might need to acquire the bond for you, and we didn't have it at the time. And he cut the deal, and we went on a nice little run with construction.
So while you were doing the construction, though, right? Like, so you learned a bunch of trades, right? So you pretty much did everything.
Everything. I like to tell everyone, I built everything but a bridge. Right? Think about that. I built high rises, buildings. I did streets. The roads and highways, parks. I mean, there's nothing I really didn't do from a construction standpoint. Right. And we did the concrete side, which is. So if you think of from a dollar standpoint, if there was a job to build a building, the biggest part of that job is the concrete, right? That's the foundation. That's all the walls. That's everything going up, the floors. And that's what we did as a black-owned company. It was crazy.
All self-taught.
All self-taught. And everything self-taught.
Because so you
I didn't go to school. So that's a big deal for me. Yeah. Like I always throw that out there because I let everyone know you could do it. Right. You don't have to go to school to learn. You could learn just on your own, but you got to have the will to learn, and I did.
Yeah, you definitely have to drive.
I'm glad you said that because we actually had an episode where we talked about college, and more people are saying, like, is college worth it, right? So we're not discouraging anybody from going to college, but there are ways to be successful if you don't go to college, right? So
college helps, right?
No, yeah. Well,
so let me answer that. Does college help? Do you agree that college helps?
It depends on the career.
I think it can help. It can help.
Okay.
It has the potential to help. I think.
When I think of myself, I don't look at myself as typical, average, right? I think, and only because I knew my drive when I watched these other people. Everyone doesn't have the same passion and devotion, dedication to do these things. So,
true.
Education is something to fall back on that could at least get you into a stability. Yeah. From a lifestyle.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you ask me, people talk to me all the time about that, and I'm like, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I had no clue. I filled out to be a sanitation, transit, police.
But but this is real. These are real jobs. Like especially like in our community, like a sanitation job is like hitting the lottery, right? Like
especially what?
Yeah.
Well, when you didn't go to school, this is what you did.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I'm glad you said that because it's like okay, you became a construction worker, right? But then
a laborer, 731 local 731.
You could have just called it a quits at that, right?
Right.
But what made you say okay? I learned construction from working construction and turned it into a business.
I actually, at a very young age, I looked at it as it's the trades. I talked to other laborers, and they was millionaires from being a laborer because that annuity that they had, they worked 20 plus years, but they had an annuity in their union that was over $1 million. So I'm sitting there like, damn, you could do this. You're digging. You got a shovel. That's all you got. You have over $1 million waiting, or you could access whenever you want. And that was very intriguing to me. And it was from a trade standpoint. So all I did was say, let me learn these trades. And it's something that they could never take away from you. I always had a chip on my shoulder because I didn't go to school. I'm 5 years in high school. Okay, so not because I wasn't smart. It's because I didn't go. I wasn't showing up. I just wouldn't go. But I'd go in, take a test, get 75, 85, and be out. It's just who I was. And it's like, I always look at it, education as, damn, what if I did do it? Or okay, I don't have it. What am I going to do? Like, what do I have to fall back on? Like, if I got to support myself, my family, whatever it may be, without an education to go get a job. Because when you really start going to get a job, you realize they don't want you. Unless you have that piece of paper or you have something behind you. Like when you go out just looking for jobs to pay for your life, there's only a few things that I looked at that you could actually make a really good living without the education. Again, when you talk about police, you could do that with those jobs.
Yeah. Like a plumber.
Yeah, but a trade.
Yeah,
well,
trade.
That's one of the things we stress too. It's like, everybody's not going to go to college. We know that.
Right.
So we got to.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. So we got.
It wasn't for me.
Teaching kids trades that they can still have a successful life with, and that's the thing that they don't show them. Right? They said like, go to college, get a 4-year degree. I'm in education, so like, yeah, that's a big proponent of it. I'm like, I know kids that coming out of high school, they're not going to college, so we got to prepare them for other things. Like construction could be something. Right? Like where we're from, like we said, sanitation is huge.
And look,
right?
Everything you're saying, it resonates with me so strongly because I always wanted to empower my people. Always talk to my block, tell them the kids what they should do, don't do. And when you think about from a work standpoint, again, that construction, it was a very good job for something you don't own. From talking from a 9-to-5 standpoint, you made a very good wage, and you could really grow it if you want to, like we did. And that's what I did. And again, I recommend it still to this day because you cannot take that skill set away. Someone has to build these homes. Someone has to build the roads, the highways, and they get paid a very good wage.
But you was entrepreneurial enough to see the flip side of the coin, where it is a good job to get paid. But the owner always makes more than an employee, no matter what business it is. NBA, construction, the owner's always gonna make more money.
As the owner, you have the risk. You should get the reward.
Exactly.
It's that simple. I'm for all the NBA players making as much money, but the risk still lies with the owner.
Right. So because you had to start, I just thought about this. You did a family business twice. You did a family business with your sister, then you did a family business with your brother, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about that as well, as far, especially in our community, we don't understand the power of working together enough, but also the power of family businesses, right?
Yeah.
It's something that
they say it's the hardest thing to do.
Work with family.
You know what? I think that
it's very difficult.
So I work with my family.
I'm blessed.
Seriously,
I'm blessed.
I think it depends on your family, right? Because I mean, if you have a good relationship, if Troy, that's my brother, we work together, it's no problem. But if we have a bad relationship, then the business is gonna be bad.
This is gonna look a lot different.
I think.
Just one of you here on this mic.
Studio shut down.
But we gonna go to music, but let me ask you construction.
Sure.
So, because a lot of listeners. Everybody's not gonna be able to make it in music, right?
That's a fact.
Even though a lot of people do want to make it in music, but anybody can be a carpenter, a construction worker, a plumber, and anybody can own their own company, right? So for somebody that's a construction worker or just interested in being an entrepreneur, how did you get your own company as far as the construction? Because there's a lot that goes into it. As far as in New York City,
and we wasn't doing like homes like a local construction company. I didn't start off there. I started right off with city jobs, which you had to bid on and become. And honestly, that's my sister. Tina worked in the office. of a company called Prue Construction, and she learned how the bids got put together. She didn't know how many men it would take or how to actually build the wall, but she knew exactly how many screws, pieces of rebar that went in the wall, which is how you got to the formula to make the bid. And then she also knew how, which is to me the hardest part of the business, to collect, to know how to do all the paperwork to get to the city offices to make sure they pay you when you finish a portion of the job, because you got paid portion by portion. And one day she just asked me, can you put up a wall, and how many men do you need? And I answered her, and she was like, let's start our own company.
Yeah, and the honorable thing is that you didn't just look for anybody to hire. Like, you went back to the community.
I went back to my people again and educated them, taught them the trades. But they have to want it. Like, I can't give you that. You have to want it. I give you a job. I had to fire a lot of the guys too.
That's true.
You know, because they wasn't working. This is business. So if you're not working, I got someone else. And then you started realizing differences, like an older guy that might have kids is way more reliable than that young guy that's ready to go party every night.
You got something else.
You know, you didn't think about those things at that moment. Now you started looking at that, and I would give the older guy the job before because I knew he had to feed his family. I would do things like that. But I really had an incredible crew of an array of different people. I had just 2 Italians, but the rest was all black or Spanish guys that worked with me.
You were saying you got like 40.
Yeah, and our height, we was over 42 employees we had.
So how do you scale? Like, because I mean, I guess that's a lot of money to start a construction company. Like, how do you scale to that point?
So we was blessed, right? And we was smart enough to get that deal done, which was the 50-50 deal, where they put up the bond for the job. We have to bid the job, and we won the first job. It was a Queens Colden Park in Queens. It was a job for about $1 million. It was about $900,000 and some change, and we bid the job, won it. So now we're funded, because now we went to our partner, who's 50-50 partners on all the profit, Ken Frolic, and we said we need this to start, and we got funded. And that's how we started. And then after that, we just started rolling it over.
Domino effect.
Yeah, it just started rolling over. But you had to watch your money. You know, again, your typical profit margins in the construction world is anywhere between 20 to 30%. So, you know, you're talking about making $180,000 on that $900,000. That's money that we never seen at that, like in one lump. Yeah. But the problem was we had to partner up with Kenny, so he's getting 90 of it. We're getting 90 of it, and then we had to keep going. So it got really hairy. But again, you know, Jay-Z said it, but we all say we never stop. You know, that was the genius part, right? We didn't quit. We just kept going. Yeah. And we kind of got to a point where now, yeah, we had a lot of money that was owed, but we're making a lot of money also, and it kind of started going and going.
So how long did it take to go from you and your sister to 40 employees?
That was 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So at that time, at the height of this, right? How much are we bringing in?
In the height, our biggest job was almost $40 million, and again, we was making a little bit more than 25% on the money.
So you're millionaires.
Yeah.
And this is
in construction.
And this is you 30.
Tina, my sister, was the first. She was money bags. Tina was the money bags.
And you were 31. You said you told me.
Yeah, I had just got into my 30s and then Irv again.
Right? Is this so?
That transition was right there in that time frame.
This is after Mike Geronimo.
This is during Mike Geronimo, and we're still going.
So mid-90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mid-90s.
So people might not know who Mike Geronimo.
Mike Geronimo.
Blunt Records, TVT, Blunt Records, another label that we started before Murder Inc.
Go YouTube that.
Independent. Mike Geronimo. We started that and put him out. We had Cash Money Click over there. You got Pitbull. We had Little John. So you have Royal Flush. These were all the artists that was on this little independent label that we started moving with.
So, all right. So, okay. So now we're going to go into the music side, because your life story is pretty interesting, where you become a millionaire at 31.
Yeah.
Construction. Got a nice thing going. 40 employees. And you give it up.
I didn't give it right up. Okay, again, this goes back to education too, right? So I didn't give it right up. We did, I did both, because music was at night. Irv was like, yo, he's growing, he needs help, come back. Because I started the music with Irv, I was managing him, and he had a group he was in, and we was doing a bunch of, but we wasn't making money. So now he's making money after the Mike G, and then he gets into Def Jam, and he's like, yo, come run this production company, Top Dog Productions. Not Top Dog with, what's his name?
Not Kendrick.
Not TD, not Kendrick.
Yeah.
We was first. You know what I'm saying? Top Dog Productions. And Irv just wanted to be the biggest and best producer in the game. And basically he's like, come run that and sell beats. He had one producer, Little Rob, and I took Little Rob and sold every beat he would have. But Little Rob wasn't a volume beat producer. Like, he would make just a few. So, but everything he made was fire. I get it off. So I said, Irv, we got a problem. We have an inventory problem.
Yeah, I need more.
I need more. So he's like, what are we going to do? I said, I'm going to go hire producers. Okay. And that's what I did.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.